Jane Bennet. I had no idea. I had not the slightest notion until she was announced, and then, of course, I was equal to it. I'm equal to anything. I said, "Good day, such a pleasure to see you." And she said, "Lovely weather we are having." And then there was a bit of a silence. And then she asked about my brother. She would. And I said he was from home. And then we talked a bit more about the weather. Disaster. I was at the Morrises when Jane Morris said to me, she said, "Have you ever heard of a girl called Miss Bennet, Miss Jane Bennet?" And I said quickly and very cleverly, "Ah, no, I've never heard of Miss Jane Bennet at all." So that was averted. I spoke to Mr Darcy. I said, "Jane Bennet is in London. What shall we do?" And he said, I must think about this a while. He's on the case. I love how I was a secret with Mr Darcy. After I told him that Miss Jane Bennet was in London, he thought very deeply, I'm sure. And the next day, when he saw me, he said, "We must make sure that he does not learn of this." But I said, "How? He knows so many people. Charles, he goes everywhere. He's insufferably sociable." And Mr Darcy said, "Between us, I believe we can contrive it." Be still, my heart. Mr Darcy told us, "I believe I have a plan to extricate your brother from the situation." And Louisa and I waited with bated breath to hear about it. We can but hope. Indeed. His plan was as follows. He was to approach my brother and to say that he did not believe, which he does not, that Miss Bennet really cares for him. Knowing Charles, it might work. How Charles frets. He'll soon meet someone else. After all, before this Bennet creature with the impossible family, there was Louise Tainton, there was the Morrison girl, and Lady Diana, in fact. There was about a summer when he haunted Lady Diana. He'll soon get over it. Meanwhile, it's drawn Darcy and me so closely together. I was walking with Charles down Wimpole Street when I saw her. Jane Bennet, probably with the aunt. I said, "Oh, that shop! I simply must go into that shop. It's got the most divine earrings." Charles sighed, but he came with me. It's all rather nerve-wracking between us. Another near miss at the theatre. Jane Bennet herself, not a picture, walking along with some woman I did not know. Charles, fortunately, was distracted by something else. But there was a very, very nervous look in Darcy's eyes. Such a shame her family is so impossible. Such a pity. That mother, she cannot be still or silent. Mrs. Bennet, she's a joke. As for the father, well, I'm not saying he's stupid. He obviously has read a great deal, but only barely a gentleman. They simply are not the sort with which our family ought to associate. That's all there is to it. That's my opinion. Anyway, I loved the way he said it. Such a family as the Bennets. Perhaps we're safe from Miss Elizabeth after all. It was the confidential way in which he spoke, not just to Louisa, but to me. I really think we've turned a corner here. And showing such confidence in my judgment, not only in Louisa's, as if interested in what I had to say about my brother. Mrs. Darcy, how well it sounds. Mrs. Darcy of Pemberley. Could it ever be me? William, Fitzwilliam, Fitzy. Oh, I do like Fitzy. I had a long discussion with my sister. I must return her call. I said, or else look extremely rude. But what should I do? Louisa said, "You must indeed return it, and you must be extremely formal, you must be extremely distanced, and you must be extremely clever. Perhaps I ought to come as well." The visit was repaid. I actually went to darkest Cheapside and lived to tell the tale. It wasn't really so bad, if I'm honest. And the aunt was absent. I saw Jane Bennet, and we chatted most amicably. We discussed the weather, as it happened. "The weather," she said, "has been exceptional for the time of year." I said, "Quite. Just so." "It has been so delightful to see you," she said at the end. "I do hope that we shall meet again." I said, "Oh, I do think we probably shall. Did I not manage it exceedingly well?" Fitzwilliam Darcy. Ooh. Mrs. Darcy. Someday that could be me. I could not believe it. I got a note from Georgiana. "You are not going to believe this. She has followed him to Derbyshire." Some women have no shame. Those two sisters, nothing will stop them. When we were in London, Miss Bennet followed us to London. The impertinence! And now Mr Darcy has gone to Pemberley. Miss Elizabeth Bennet is suddenly in Derbyshire. It's pursuit, that's what it is. It's simply pursuit. I only hope he can see through it. I can only trust that he sees through her. As for my brother Charles, he is as far gone as I've ever seen him. He's completely besotted with Miss Bennet, the elder Miss Bennet, not the odious one. I cannot see what he sees in her. I mean, she is attractive, no question, but she has no conversation, no brio. Not like some people I could mention. Georgiana believes her to be charming. Charming. That was her word, Georgiana's. "Miss Bennet is charming," she said. Well, I suppose she could be seen as charming if one's taste lay that way. She's just following him, that's all. She's followed him to Derbyshire. She's followed him to Pemberley. My chances of becoming Mrs. Darcy are rather worse. And not only that, making up to the most frightful degree. I mean, her aunt, her uncle. Even Georgiana seems to like her. I have a very bad feeling about this. I said, "Have the militia truly left Meryton? What a disappointment for your family." Poor little Georgiana was well out of her depth. She just couldn't do anything right, really. Get the fruit going, get the conversation happening. She's a dear little thing, but really not a clue. So, well, I did what I could, of course. One always does. Noblesse oblige. I said, "I do remember you being extraordinarily witty when we were all in Hertfordshire. Do you remember? You said, 'Her a beauty. I should as soon call her mother a wit.'" But he didn't laugh. Instead, he said, "That was then, this was now," or something of the sort. It has been some time since he has considered her one of the most beautiful women that he knows. Charles and Mr Darcy have gone down again to Netherfield. This is a very bad sign. I am fearing the worst. Imagine it, Miss Elizabeth Bennet becoming Mrs. Darcy. What are things coming to? I'm not going to pretend it's not a blow. I always fancied I should have Pemberley someday. But 'twas not to be. I can cope. can deal with it. I'm a strong person. Mind? I don't mind, not at all, no. I'm not in the least bothered about it. I never really, liked Mr Darcy much. He was not my type, really. I think the right person for me to marry would be rather less, well, it would never have worked. Just as well it didn't, really. Bothered? Me? No, not in the least. Of course, one must go to the wedding, and of course one must smile and be cheerful and charming. Something like this, I imagine. So there will be a Mrs Darcy, and it will not be me. I've enjoyed talking to you. A bit, at times. I've enjoyed feeling that you were on side. I'm sure you're as disappointed as I am. So, for now, farewell. I can hardly wait to be in Pemberley again. Such a delightful place, such charming people. And Miss Elizabeth Bennet, as was. The most amazing hostess. Such charm, such savoir-faire, such fine eyes.